What's up, guys? Welcome back. So, maybe you've heard of this guy. His name is Cal Newport, and I heard of him from a friend. RSD Tyler, pickup guy, pickup guru. Really awesome, by the way. Check out his channel if you never have. He was at Tai Lopez's party, and Tai Lopez asked, how did you grow so much this past year? And he said, I read the book Deep Work by Cal Newport, and I applied the principles that were set out in that book. Anyways, at a point in the book, he talks about deep work and shallow work. And he gives an example. He says, with shallow work, such as when you're in deep work, it takes a lot of focus. We have up to like 4 hours a day of solid focus so that we can put all our energy into something, and that's really it. After that, we're drained of the willpower to stay committed. It's not so black and white, but you get what I'm saying. And then he goes on to say, but then there's also shallow work, and shallow work is simple activities. And more than ever in 2016, we have an abundance of shallow work. Checking emails, right? Looking at Facebook, making Facebook posts, social media. Probably one of the biggest shalloh works I can think of. Doing things that seem like work but are not really deep work. They say they take some sort of focus, but you could be taking your focus and putting it somewhere greater and then have a bigger return on that time invested. Now, the scary thing is that when you get used to doing shallow work, you totally forget how to get into deep work mode. That's kind of scary, because it's so easy to pick up your phone and get carried away doing shallow work, but you're actually teaching your brain not to do deep work. Now, there's a different part of this that we can apply to our own lives, and we can find the easiest way to look at it is to think of the things that we do as junk activities, okay? These junk activities are things such as Netflix, Facebook, Instagram, video games, porn, junk activities, cigarettes, smoking, that kind of stuff, junk food, right? And when we get to do these things, just like shallow work, our brains and our bodies become accustomed, if not addicted, to junk activities. Why? Because when we do these things, we get the neurotransmitter dopamine. It's released, and we are now stimulated. And as a brain becomes stimulated by simple junk activities, you get so accustomed to this dopamine release, this quick fix, that every other thing that takes even a slight bit more of work becomes intolerable. It becomes less enjoyable. It becomes harder to get out of your house when you have the internet at your fingertips. It becomes harder to go out and hang out with friends and be social in real life when you have social media on your phone, right? It becomes harder to get into a working environment when you feel like you've put work in a very shallow way. Now, the coolest part about this is that as your dopamine begins to come back to baseline, when you get rid of the junk activities and you start doing things like reading, meditation, working out, social interaction, stuff like that, your dopamine kind of goes back to normal. It's not used to this spike throughout the day, boom, 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 right? So now, the things that take a little more effort, that used to be not as fun, become enjoyable. They become more tolerable. I'm more willing to sit down and focus. I'm more willing to work, and I actually want to. It's fun to me now. And just to expand on this even more, as you become this alpha monk, that just loves to do the hard things, you find enjoyment where other people would find depression and they would feel lazy, right? They would need something else. We find enjoyment. We become more attractive, right? We become the alpha males of society. People, you become awesome. In a sense, you become very awesome when you can do these things. And it will leave you with a sense of fulfillment, a sense of a higher self-esteem and consciousness that you begin to really like yourself. It's really cool, the whole cycle, when you just go and look at it. And you don't need other people to make you feel, like you're good enough. You have done these things. You now are stimulated by hard things. This makes you feel really good, because a lot of people don't like doing this stuff, and we do it. We walk the walk. We talk the talk. When once we were just consuming. We were in this paradigm of consuming all that we can just for feeling. Now we're in this state of producing, of wholeness, and it feels good, man. It feels really good. Probably the best feeling ever when you're producing something, when you're creating a life that you want to live. And other people can see that, and they want to be around that energy. They want to be around that higher consciousness, sucked out of the simple stuff, man. Take them with you, right? It's hard, man. It's hard. It takes a daily fine-tuning. Join us. Join me, guys. Man, let's do it. Let's get back to doing the hard things. Get uncomfortable with just being okay with doing the little things. Get into the deep work. Get away from the cell phone, away from the pornography, away from the junk food, the junk activities. Feed our mind the good stuff, the right food, and we're gonna grow. It's gonna happen. And we're just going to steadily see our lives change for the better. We're gonna see ourselves get out of these circumstances that we felt so trapped in. Right? When you realize we're gonna get out of that, guys. You're gonna get out of the fucking darkness and rage on against the dying light, man. Keep going, boys. I love you. Stay strong.